He's like, I'm right here. I love the Democratic Party. I will unconditionally defend the Democratic Party. Anyway, funny too how they don't realize that if you got paid by the Dems, you would simultaneously lose all credibility and potential reach across the aisle anyway. I mean, it's not even, I don't even care about that. Like, if the Democratic Party was, you know, doing, I've often said that I want to be the propaganda minister, okay? I want to be regime pilled. All right, I want to see what Will had to say about the end of the left plus liberal
to be
alliance.
like their candidate, and then replacing him with Kamala Harris, who
side that's being committed now.
Oh.
Who I think got a brief honeymoon of people just being like, oh, we don't have to vote for Joe Biden.
She got about a meme news cycle.
She's Brad, but then it was just, I mean, I think what it comes down to, like, I mean, like the easiest explanation is her and the Democratic Party, that the infrastructure around her, don't actually believe in anything. I mean, well, they do believe in certain things, like, you know, supporting Israel and Wall Street and their you know, like their donors, but like they essentially don't believe in anything. And you see a lot of that now in the sort of postmortems where people are they're stuck on this idea of messaging. You know, we got like our messaging is better, or like, you know, we need 10,000 Hasan Pikers. And like the message follows the policy. And if you don't have
10,000 Hasan Pikers.
Yeah, let 1,000 Hasan Pikers win. They just think like, if we can only have Hasan Piker with our politics, then we'd have the perfect vessel for our message. And the answer is like, Hasan wouldn't be Hasan if he had the politics of, you know, Pod Save America.
Right.
They essentially ran this election as a campaign.
I mean, he's right. Which is ironic because, like, that's kind of the point I made as well. That it's simply not a matter of, like, you know, flooding the market with pro-liberal sentiment. And although those interviews were blasted virtually everywhere, okay, in virtually every single outlet, mainstream outlet that covered it, absolutely zero people understood what I was saying. They were like, hey man, can we give you some money? You'll be the Joe Rogan of the left, please. This seems like a great idea. And I was like, that's not how this works. I said that in every single interview that was done. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, apparently there was another guy who, in between sending sex tapes that he had sometimes consensually and other times unconsensually filmed, sending those sex tapes without the consent of other parties that were involved in the sex tapes, he was sitting around getting angry that he was not being presented as the Joe Rogan of the left. He's like, I'm right here. I love the Democratic Party. I will unconditionally defend the Democratic Party. Anyway, funny too how they don't realize that if you got paid by the Dems, you would simultaneously lose all credibility and potential reach across the aisle anyway. I mean, it's not even, I don't even care about that. Like, if the Democratic Party was, you know, doing, I've often said that I want to be the propaganda minister, okay? I want to be regime pilled. I want to be regime pilled. I want to be a loyal servant of this party. The issue, on the other hand, is in order for that to happen, they have to actually do something that's worth defending. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon, though. Could you be China pilled? I already am. If China did, I mean, if the American government did half of the good things, not the bad, because we're only doing the bad things that the Chinese government does in terms of like curbing free speech or, you know, wholesale trying to ban applications that don't abide by American messages. Like, we're just doing, our institutions only take the bad of Chinese governance and try to apply it here and none of the good stuff. What they also fail to recognize is a lot of the restrictive things that the Chinese government does only works if you're doing the good stuff as well. That's the reality of more controlling and more authoritarian. I'm not saying the Chinese government is authoritarian, but like more authoritarian, like overtly controlling governance is that the people know that they can't say certain things. So the permission structure of permissible speech is apparent. People know what you can say and people know what you can't say. People know that they're being propagandized to. When you know that you're being propagandized to, you will revolt if all the other stuff is not working. The American government is now going to do all of the bad controlling stuff, controlling speech stuff, and none of the good stuff that comes along with it.
Against Donald Trump, yes, who's like, the most dangerous man who's ever existed in American history. But they really did also run a campaign against their own base. And they ran a campaign to essentially demoralize their own base on behalf of this, like...
It's not a dumbass take to say all governments are authoritarian. What are you talking about? It's a structure of authority. By definition, every rule that is written, whether it makes sense or not, is still restricting people that would technically want to, violate that standard, violate that rule. That's it. That's how it works. The point is, or the goal is rather, to make sure that the rules that are set are sensible. I didn't know you were an anarchist. No, my difference in opinion on the matter is that there are plenty of sensible rules and standards. I'm not inherently against it, is my point. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the big difference, I guess. And I'm not even inherently in favor of democratizing every aspect of that process.
An imaginary tranche of voters that existed on their spreadsheets. And I think
who is that imaginary voter?
The moderate voter or the Republican voter that's voted Republican their whole life but is uncomfortable with Donald Trump because of January 6th or Russia or blah blah blah. The list goes down. It's just like a campaign for anyone but I don't know, they're the base. They're anyone liberal or progressive or a young person in this country. They didn't give people anything to vote for. And why would anyone vote for Republican Light when the full fat version is on offer and half the price? So, I think that's really what it comes down to. The Democrats didn't offer anything to anyone. They don't believe in anything. And say what you will about Donald Trump.
Can you prove any sensible rules, dog? There's no basis for authority to exist other than its own assertion. No, dude. Take a shower, okay? Take a shower. Take a shower, please, right now. Turn off the broadcast, go to your bathroom, clean it up first because there's probably crust all over it, and take a shower. Chatters be like, I don't understand. Why is there any standards for what kind of meat in our meat supply is allowed? I would like to get trichinosis, please. What do you mean, dude? What do you mean? Oh, sensible rules. There is no basis for authority to exist other than its own assertion. All rules are there should be no safety standards, I say. No, it's not an accidental libertarian. It's an anarchist. He's coming in from the anti-nap time coalition. An unjustifiable hierarchy has been presented on top of me. My maternal unit is enforcing the violent standard of which she maintains the monopoly on by forcing me to go to sleep. Sir, a second hierarchy just hit. It's my 4-year-old. He got a Twitch account somehow. That's good anarchist parenting, allowing your child to get a Twitch account. Donald Trump has signed an order redesignating Ansar Allah, the Houthis, as a foreign terrorist organization. This designation was placed on Ansar Allah during the Trump administration, but was lifted when Biden took office because it was impeding the delivery of humanitarian aid. After the October 7 attacks, Biden designated Ansar Allah as a specially designated global terrorist, which is a different designation from foreign terrorist organization. One of the key differences is that the FDO criminalizes material support of organizations designated as terror organizations. FTO is broader and more punitive, while the SDGT is narrower and targets financial and logistical aspects. Thank God. Thank God these goddamn evil demons are getting what's what. Anyway, yeah, he ended DEI.